Hi, I'm Sarah with the trains, and I'm here at Fairbourne station on the Cambrian coast to explore a station and a village that may be getting lost to the sea due to climate change. One way to get to Fairbourne is to walk across to Barmouth Bridge and walk, as you can see by this sign. But you have to cross the train tracks, so remember, railway safety first. Stop, look and listen, and only cross at approved points. If you trespass on the railway, it's an offence and you can be fined. It's also very dangerous. On this occasion, however, I decided to hop on the 158 at Barmouth station and travel across the bridge and to Fairbourne by train. Fairbourne railway station was opened in 1865 by the Aberystwyth and Welsh Coast Railway, originally being named Barmouth Ferry. It would close just 2 years later in 1867. It was then reopened by Cambrian Railways as Fairbourne in 1899. These days, it's an unstaffed station with just one platform and a single track going through. There is a substantial concrete shelter at one end with a lovely painted decoration inside. The area where Fairbourne village now stands had been up until the mid-19th century an area of salt marshes and some grazing lands with 3 farms. The coastal area was known as Morfa Henthal. Around 1865, Solomon Andrews, the entrepreneur I mentioned in the video about Barmouth Bridge, bought a promontory outcrop in the area known as an ysphage. He built a seawall, a promenade, and several houses. In 1895, Sir Arthur MacDougall, of flour manufacturing fame, had been looking to buy a country estate, but when he came across the area we now know as Fairbourne, he had the idea to create a seaside resort for people from the Midlands and purchased a substantial acreage from land speculators. The following year he purchased additional lots and construction had begun on what we now know as Fairbourne. Fairbourne doesn't have a Welsh language name, unlike a lot of other places in the county of Gwynedd, and English is the predominant language spoken in the community. One of the main visitor attractions in Fairbourne is the miniature railway. What is now a narrow gauge railway, though, had originally been a horse-drawn construction tramway that opened in 1895 and was used to move the building materials for the construction of Fairbourne village. Passenger cars were later introduced to carry people down to Barmouth Ferry. The line converted to a narrow gauge steam railway in 1916 by Wenman Joseph Bassett Loke of Narrow Gauge Railways Limited as a way to promote tourism in the area. Over the years it has changed hands many times and actually closed for a while in 1940, to be later rescued in 1946 by a consortium of businessmen from the Midlands. Rebuilding took place and the line reopened in 1947. The line goes from Fairbourne village all the way down to the ferry at the mouth of the Mouthac estuary that carries people across the estuary to Barmouth. This little locomotive, number 759, named Yo, is a model of one of 3 narrow gauge locomotives built by Manning Wardle for the Linton and Barnstaple Railway in 1898. This model was built in 1978 by David Kerwin for Réseau Guélédon, a miniature railway in France, and was originally named Jubilee. When the railway closed in 1979, the locomotives returned to the UK and were kept in storage until the Ellerton family purchased the Fairbourne Railway in 1984, when this locomotive has been in service ever since. These concrete pyramids aren't just a decoration on the sea wall, they're actually an anti-tank device from the Second World War, known as Dragon's Teeth. They're designed to slow down and channel tanks into specific areas where they could then be disposed of using anti-tank weapons. The beautiful beach at Fairbourne is 2 miles long and has a very steep storm beach of pebbles as high as the sea wall, which I had to very carefully descend to get down to the sea. Unfortunately, this lovely seaside village is predicted to be one of the first victims of climate change. Barely above sea level, just half a metre rise in critical sea level could spell the end of Fairbourne, and after 2054 there will be no spending on the coastal defences of this community. Gwynedd Council has suggested that relocations could take place beginning in 2045 and that the village as a whole would be removed so that there isn't a risk of the sea becoming polluted by man-made things when the area returns to being salt marsh. As of November 2021, government officials declared that it would no longer be safe or sustainable to live in the village by 2052. But of course, this could change if forecasts worsen or a storm breaches the sea defences. The council's policy of so-called managed retreat has met with opposition from locals, however. In May 2022, the Arthog Community Council approved a motion to reject the plans of Gwynedd County Council to decommission the village. There aren't any plans to rebuild the village elsewhere after it's been demolished, meaning that the people of Fairbourne are likely to be placed in existing towns and villages in North Wales, and it's not expected that they'll receive any compensation. I just hope that this lovely little seaside village can continue to thrive for many years to come. Thanks everybody for watching, and if you've enjoyed this, please subscribe and like this video.